Right. Hello, guys. Happy witching hour. It's High Priestess Jamila. I kind of wanted to come and give a little spiritual update as far as like where I am at in things. And I'm gonna be brutally honest. Brutally. The verdict after many, many years of abuse, stalking, berating, put downs, grape, okay, being raped, being put out there, being basically having some of the most cruelest things happening to me. What's my verdict as far as where I'm at spiritually? Where has it geared me towards? Okay. And so, yeah, I wanted to come and talk about that because it was something that was pretty much very publicized. Yeah, it was very publicized. It was like being in an actual American horror story where people are witnessing and watching these horrific things happen to you. And at the same time, not being anything like Jesus, because when it comes to women, you know how cats are. You know how cats, the way they carry on, cats are so regal and they are so just, they have that presence of I am king or I am queen. It's the same thing with women, especially when you're dealing with a divine feminine. Um, so as a divine feminine, my own personal power, I would never give it away. I reclaimed it, and it honestly is not a situation to where it's really not that drastic. But if I had to, like Jesus, I would die for it. So, I've done many, many years of research. The ideal was definitely presented to me um, to come back to Jesus. I don't think any of us have ever left Jesus, in my humble opinion. I think that they used Jesus's blood over 2,000 years ago, mind you, in another time. But I think that what they did was, number one, they crucified him because he had supernatural powers, because he was a male witch. Okay. So that's the first thing. And he refused to go along with the regime of what they were doing, which was all about control and political and religious corruption. And so, I believe in my heart of hearts that Jesus was crucified, tortured, beaten because he was a witch. And I believe that he was chosen somehow. The church wanted his power. He refused to give it up. I think that that's the real true story of the situation. And, I honestly, I don't. So here's what I want to say, because I wanted to get the whole thing about Jesus out of the way. Okay. I think also Jesus was used to incite fear in people. But I think mainly Jesus was a human sacrifice. So there was several reasons, probably those are the top three main reasons. Hey, Stefan, that was three of the main top reasons why I believe that Jesus was sacrificed. Uh, and so I do not trust religion at all to this day. I think that there is a very evil, false God behind religion and the Bible. And I believe that humans carry out that evil in today's time, even though they don't have to. I think that they can really be used as vessels for that. Right now, what is happening is a lot of atonement. And this is one of the reasons why I'm not playing around with people. I'm not joking around with people. I am not going to be sitting around on fucking welfare, on fucking Section 8, not living the fucking life that I want to fucking live, doing free work for people. Uh, and I'm not. No, I'm not. No, I'm not, because I'm going to tell you why. There are certain things that are needed that cost money these days. Those things have always costed something, even back when we were doing barter and trade. And what is very popular right now, uh it's we can't really necessarily call it destiny swapping, but what a lot of people are doing is scapegoating. Okay. The consciousness is all about scapegoating. The consciousness is all about conjurings of sacrifice. Leviticus is used very often, along with other verses of the Bible, to accomplish this. And I do believe that people are foolish to go along with that regime. And I feel like a lot of people are going to be regretful of that. So I'm not going to be doing free work for people, dealing with that bullshit. I'm not going to do it. I'm not Jesus. If since it's what I do for a living, I have to be paid for it. So I'm not going to be doing nothing cheap. In fact, I have not released the video because it's a lot to fucking deal with. It is. It's a lot. It's a lot to deal with. Okay, these people are desperately using the Bible to take the sheep or the lamb. They want to scapegoat up on people. They want to commit sin, some of the worst sins and atrocities, all of their sin, just like how they did to Jesus. They fucked him up. They fucking killed him. They fucking hung him on a fucking cross. That's what the fuck they want to do to you. And they're all up to it. Now, some of the good Christians who really believe that it's all about love, I think that we do get real love from those people. I think that they are truly in Christ consciousness, but I think that probably 80% of Christians practice it the way that it's supposed to be, which is where you are fucking somebody else up. Somebody else has to die for you to live. And I don't believe in that bullshit. I don't come from the sector of paganism that does that. My people were healers, my people perform miracles. We just don't do that. So that's where I'm at. That's where I'm going to stay. And, I guess if somebody wants to pop my fucking head off to prove different, you'll only make me stronger, because guess what? I'd be stronger in spirit, bitch. So yeah, it's literally gonna fucking be Armageddon. Straight up. So that's where I'm at. So basically, to put it in layman's term, first of all, when it comes to people saying, oh, the demons of the Goesha, they're so harmful. Listen, as a divine feminine, we run that shit. So there's no demon that's gonna fucking do harm to me or anybody that I love. They're gonna do what I expect them to fucking do. So I don't care what anybody, even the jinn, when it comes to the jinn. So I don't even want to hear that. It was um it was literally this divine consciousness that created all of that. So I don't even want to, I don't want to hear no more of the bullshit. Okay. Then also, I'm really not trying to hear. I think that a lot of people have it right, but then again, they kind of have it wrong. I don't believe that this earth has been turned into a false reality. I believe that they're trying to. But do I believe that this is a false reality that we live in? No, I do not. No, I do not believe that everybody is dead. No, I do not believe that. I do believe that there is a constant attempt to switch reality, to create a reality where you have this hierarchy that is in control, and then you've got all of these people that are being tortured, fed up on, and just mind fucked altogether. Okay, because the part of the mind fuckery is doing something to you and then saying, no, you're doing this to me. It's like the most ultimate sickest fucking serial killer. Can you imagine being in the hands of a serial killer and this person is stabbing you, cutting limbs off of you, and saying, no, I'm not actually doing that to you. You're doing it to me. So these people are very fucking sick. I'm not going to be battling and fighting with these people for free because I don't fucking have to do it. I don't. And they are going to fuck a lot of people up. They've been fucking a lot of people up. And so basically, what we've done is, since I have had, and I feel like there's been people that have not necessarily betrayed me, but betrayed themselves. Like it hurts me a lot. Not nobody that I love, not nobody in my family. Well, listen, my grandmother is all over my family. My ancestor is all over my family. And by the way, the title of high priestess came from my grandmother. So she's all over her family. I'm all over my offspring. My grandmother is all over and protecting her offspring and their offspring. You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty much what's happening right now. I'm talking about people that are clients or may have been karmically connected to me. All of those people are getting cut off. We don't have time for this. The new moon is going to be the cutoff time. It's actually happening right now. I am not wasting any more time and my energy on people that insist on going, what should I do? Nobody has time for that. The truth, the obvious, simple truth has already been pointed out to you. At the core of your being, if you ever think or thought that it was okay for any man to sit up there and disrespect a woman, you already at the end of your rope. Men, especially if it is a divine feminine that has offered her love, should be bending over backwards for the woman, showing the utmost respect. If you are a woman that doesn't agree with that, then nobody gives a shit about you. You're literally, the cosmos has been shut off from you. Nobody cares. Nobody wants to hear that. It's not about grandstanding or, feeling like, oh, you must fucking worship me. No, it's about what's right. It's about what's right. And men like that are going to be stomped out. Nobody has time for that because what they're doing is they're not listening to Maxwell. Remember in Maxwell and this woman's work? Remember when Maxwell says, I stand outside of this woman's work? This woman's work. That's what you were supposed to do as a man. No, instead, you chose to try to bring the church into the temple of Isis, and you're gonna end up getting stoned. You do not. Do you understand me? Because this is, and really literally what's crazy is that what is a false reality is a lot of us, it is a false war. We're supposed to be healing. There's supposed to be a lot, there's just supposed to be a gravy train of healing, right? It's supposed to go round and around and around all the time. Healing, 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 peace, prosperity, protection. That's the way it's supposed to be. So we're technically not even supposed to be in some fucking spiritual war, right? So the gods have gotten impatient. I'm tired of people saying that Saturn is evil. Saturn is a planet of wisdom and freedom and liberation and sovereignty, with a lot of knowledge. Like, I'm talking about Saturn. To me, when I look at Saturn, it's almost like the tree of knowledge, almost like there's so many freaking messages encoded in Saturn. Just looking at Saturn gives me so much. So I'm sick of the fucking lies, and I don't have time for it. I really don't. I don't. I'm not wasting my time dealing with people that are sexist or misogynist or racist. I'm not dealing with. I'm not the God. Listen, the universe is not dealing with that. That's not what we doing. Okay, that's not what we doing. Okay, little mundane things like, talking to the goddess about the president. Trust me, I have already been on the phone with the goddess about our president, and some of the moves that, because he keeps having these outbursts of it, and see, politics is something that, if you want to talk about Jesus, let's talk about Jesus. Guess what Jesus is trying to do? You want to get the real deal? Jesus is trying to literally destroy the infrastructure of politics. Jesus hates politics and politicians. Get the fuck out of here. That was his original true teachings. Okay. So Jesus is doing his thing. In the meantime, as a woman, as a divine feminine, as a connected light being of light for the divine feminine, we are supposed to be dealing with the women and the children. That does not mean that I can do spiritual work for free. And see, this is something that has, for some reason, it's been debated about in the spiritual community. And I think that it was being debated about by people that wanted free spiritual work. So then they said, okay, well, since I can't get free spiritual work, I'm going to go back to the church and I'm going to try to sacrifice a woman and a baby and a child. And see, this is where they messed up. I swear to God, y'all. You don't have to believe a goddamn word that I say, but I'm telling you what is going on. And I know that I'm right. Right? I know that I'm right. First of all, Jesus died because I don't feel like he wanted to. I feel like he did it because first of all, we don't really know the true story. I personally feel like he did fight, because they try to make it seem like Jesus didn't fight back. I feel like Jesus did give them a fucking fight. I do. But see, that's something that is a consciousness amongst men. So the female gender is not supposed to be doing that. So that's that, and I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. Okay. If it's some crazy bitch that's running around doing crazy shit, it is very common amongst witches. Witches have burned other witches before. Okay. Witches have burned male and female warlocks for doing stuff like that. And there used to be a time, and those times were better, when in witchcraft you were literally forbidden from dealing with the Bible. And I'm going to tell you why. It is because they are sacrificing people. They're scapegoating on people. It's very evil. It's very cruel. My stance on that is not going to change. You can believe in what you want to believe, but I can promise you that, depending on your bloodline, depending on your family, depending on the matriarchs of your family, religion ain't doing nothing for you. It's your ancestors that's doing everything, baby. Okay, they doing everything. And especially if you had a great great grandmother that was a witch, she's still doing it for you, baby. She's still doing it for you, okay? Because the latter don't want to do shit for you. So that's just what it is, okay? So, That's where I'm at on that. How do I feel ever since literally being invaded by what I felt like was aliens that claimed that they were with God and Jesus? I am my trust issues with the Bible, my trust issues with religion have went deeper. That's pretty much what it produced for me. Okay. It's made me a more loving person. It's made me appreciate love, but I didn't really need to change. There was nothing about me that needed to change. Not a damn thing. In fact, most of the people that know me knows that I had to go through hell and back to survive that. But I had some fucking troll come over to my channel talking about some, oh, I came over here and I just gave my opinion and disagreed with you and you blocked me. Have you evolved from that? I just blocked the person. Get the fuck off of my channel. There's a difference between saying, well, I kind of think differently than insulting a person. So I don't block people for having a difference in opinion. I block disrespectful people with bad energy. But these people that are saying that is something wrong with you, they are mirroring you, is what they're doing. They are factually mirroring everything about themselves to you, either an attempt to take your identity, your destiny, or either just to take you out with them. So that's just what it is. And you know what? That's what we've witnessed. That's what we've seen. End of story. Most of them, when they're done talking, they say, praise Jesus. Now, I'm not saying that that's Jesus's fault. I think that a lot of them have a misconception that they can, because it's never been that way. They have a misconception that they can do things like that and then go and say, well, God forgive me. And that's not the way that it works. A gun does not make a person, a gun does not kill people. Religion does not kill people. Satanism does not kill people. People kill people. People hurt people. All of those things are just tools. In reality, what Saturn has been screaming, the messages that I've been getting from Saturn is that nobody should be suffering because of somebody else's mistake. What's the first thing people do when somebody's being stalked like that, especially by a man or gang stalked? The person ends up being excluded and they end up being treated like a fucking leper. They end up isolated and alone. And that, my friend, is something that Jesus would not approve of. So right now we're giving specific instruction. All of the people that can be trusted with the information, we are being given specific instruction on what the hell to do. That's not going to be made publicized at all when they do their atonement rituals, because that's what they're doing constantly. If they're sick, they're projecting it to somebody else. If they feel sad, they project it to somebody else. If they feel any type of way, they are pushing that energy to someone else, which is basically the same thing. That's what you're dealing with. I refuse to deal with these desperate, stupid, crazy ass people that y'all dealing with that are literally feeding off of you and your whole families. I did a reading earlier and I'm gonna get it uploaded. It's about 30 minutes, I think, the reading. I break it all down. The adversarial energy is going to listen word for word all the way through. A lot of y'all that are caught up, sleeping, not paying attention, y'all gonna barely listen to it. But I highly encourage you to listen to that reading that I did all the way through. And just to give you guys a just, basically, I'm not doing a Maybon circle. So I've decided not to do Maybon. We're going to skip through the Samhain. There is no Maybon circle, but there is an open circle for Samhain. All of it is it not all of it, but the information that I'm able to give to the public is in that video that I'll get uploaded as to why. Okay. As to why Spirit decided to do that. So that's pretty much it. Cruelty and attacking and graping somebody and humiliating them is not going to turn them away from their craft. I'm not going to ever actually believe ever that, oh, God must have let that happen to me. God would literally punish me for thinking that. I'm talking about my God. That's the only way God would punish me. If I were to believe that God would ordain or orchestrate some shit like that. You know what God did? God got me through. God made sure my children were safe. God made sure that my family was safe. The people that I love in my family, my grandchildren. Sadly, I lost my mother. I've kind of got a hair switch when it comes to adversaries. Not anybody that I love, not my family, not anybody that I love, but I'm telling you, I am not in the mood for no bullshit. I am not. And I'm not going to have it. I'm not gonna and see my grandmother. She walks with me. She don't want no attacks on her family. And listen, there are a lot of families that have been under attack. Your whole fucking family. Don't matter if you black or white. They've been attacking a lot of people families. Okay, so the whole family, while trying to create this illusion that, oh, we're only doing this to this one person. Don't worry about it. We're not going to do it to the rest of your family. Trust me, they're going to do it to everybody in your family generationally. They want it to go into the next generation, scapegoating on you, projecting it. You come from a family of empaths? Mm-mm. So that's just what that is. And that's why I was saying families have to stick together and be loyal. It ain't about the difference in religious or spiritual beliefs. It's about sticking together with your blood. Of course, you can have friends outside of the family, of course. However, the bloodline, depending on your bloodline, no matter what race you are, notice how somebody, I don't know who, so don't come for me. Notice how somebody literally ripped through Elvis's family. Y'all notice how they did that? Just ripped through his family. Why? Because Elvis is a big deal. He made a mark in history. Anything. It can be the smallest thing. You can graduate from college and end up with your family under attack. Just because you graduated from college. You know why? Because it takes drive, it takes momentum, it takes confidence, it takes money, it takes a loving, supportive family to do that. Okay? But what many people found out the hard way was that unless you get into the medical industry or either you're an attorney or it's something that's in high demand, that a lot of times college, depending on what you do with it, ended up being kind of like a scam. So, that I ain't gonna get into that, but because a lot of people had college degrees working at McDonald's. So that ain't even always a guarantee. And again, I think that's all a setup as well. So, I don't have time for the bullshit and because, when people are being deceptive, I'm always the first one to know how fucking deceptive they're being. There's a lot of people that don't. And I go into a lot of stuff into that reading. I'm gonna get that uploaded in a few minutes here. Um, I cover a lot. I can't cover your whole family unless you're able to, write me a check for 50, 60, 70,000. Then I can do work on your whole family for you. Maybe even 100 grand. Your aunties, your cousins. I can't help everybody. It's usually just you and your immediate family. So, families are under attack, not just mother, father, children. The whole bloodline is under attack. Your whole bloodlines. And think about how much pressure that is now. When I get into my own house, I'll have a backyard. I'll be able to go out. I'll be able to have all my pots going because I've got my large cauldron. that hold on, y'all. That makes me think about my OG. He was like, "You got the pot," because he was looking at some of my stuff. He was like, "You got," I can't remember what he said. He said, "You got that pot from because and I had got it from Amazon, but it's kind of rusted. Then I have my fire pit. So when I'm able to do things like that and do my shamanic burns and stuff, that's when I'll be able to handle big cases like that because that's going to take a lot of smoke and a lot, because there's energy in smoke. There's energy in fire. Okay. So, it's important to do those burns outside, and we don't do it for evil. We do it for other reasons, to reclaim people's lives and all of that. You know what I'm saying? Healing. We're not doing it to, oh, I just want to put negativity into the world. There's some people that are doing that, and they're going to end up in a lot of trouble for that. Now, if you are asserting your position because somebody tried to take something that you created your own money, you created your own prosperity, and somebody said, "Oh, I want to steal that from you," then that's very different. Okay. It just is what it is. But no, I have not decided to be a Christian. I'll never be a Christian. It ain't about I know the truth. It's just about, yeah, I know the truth. If you practice Christianity the way it's supposed to be practiced, it's extremely evil. It is. It's extremely evil. Okay. All you got to do is know how to read and comprehend. But there's a lot of people, they kind of look at things as just a story, but it's kind of like a dark history that doesn't need to keep repeating itself over and over again. And just FYI, a lot of the witches are getting ready to invoke the Morgan. The Morgan has already been invoked all up and down. She has an army. Hecate has an army. Santa Muerta has her army. Lakshmi even got an army. A lot of people don't realize that Lakshmi has a lot of stuff backing her. A lot. And probably the reason why people are so ignorant on Lakshmi is because when they look at India, we only see the propaganda. We don't realize that, India and places like that are really they're thriving countries. We just assume that, Africa's everybody's starving there. We assume that everybody is starving to death and dying and getting killed over in Haiti. That's just one part of Haiti. So it's a lot of propaganda. But, so that's pretty much what it is. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to be, spending hours of my time, you know what I'm saying, battling and fighting and doing that shit for free. I don't do it for free. So if you expect somebody to do it for free or cheap, do what you got to do. Because that's been a huge problem. It has been. So much so to the point where I've thought about leaving social media completely and just getting the hell up out of here because I'm tired of the bullshit. And then I'm tired of people mixing witchcraft with religion. It's not the same. And then I'm tired of the bullshit. We all know what religion does. Religion means that somebody has to die for somebody else to live. Somebody has to lose for somebody else to win. And that's stupid to me. That makes no sense. Then it completely and totally discounts the woman, which is stupid. I'm not going to argue about it no more. I'm done talking about it. I am into peace, love, and kindness, is what I'm into, and compassion. Just like Jesus, coincidentally, you know? So, but anywho, that's pretty much it. I'll get that video uploaded, guys. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm opening up the Sam Hain circle. So we're doing Sam Hain. I've already done the footwork for Sam Hain. I did that yesterday. So we're doing that one. And then we'll roll back. Of course, we're going to recognize Maybon on that day, but we had to skip forward to Samhain, which is how Spirit wanted us to do it, which definitely makes a lot of sense. So I do break it down in that reading. as to why Spirit wanted to do that. And it's funny how when folks was participating in my Sabbaths, and back when folks was listening to me, there was less suffering. A lot of this stuff that's going on has a lot to do with with ignorance and fear. You know, I think the reason why a lot of us, it's not evil or the devil or Satan or nothing like that, but a lot of us connect more so to the higher consciousness of God than the God of the Bible. So we're not being harmful or anything like that, because the cognitive dissonance has been programmed into a lot of Christians anyway, which is that fear. And it's like I kind of felt it a little bit yesterday when I was in ritual and meditation, just that feeling of change that a lot of people, is scary to them, you know what I'm saying? So and we already know that a lot of people that are used to religion, and they end up coming to witches to get work done, or healers or shamans, the cognitive dissonance that they go through is probably up to 100 times worse than normal cognitive dissonance. So I understand, and I'm very patient. However, it's something that tells me inside of me that that is what's going on. Uh, in fact, I've been doing a little bit of research, and there's this. Let me go and get this supreme being's name. Hold on a minute. Can y'all hear me? Okay, y'all can hear me. There's been talk of a higher consciousness of light named Barbello. And so I thought that that was interesting. However, I think that it's basically just translates to um that higher consciousness, that is way, way, way above and beyond any false god that pretty much carries on the characteristics of an angry man, a confused, insecure man. So, that's just how I feel. Okay. And I'm not the only one that feels that way. And do I feel like, oh, well, you're going to go to hell and you're going to have a lot of problems and you're going to know if, that I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't have problems in my life until I allowed somebody into my life that should have never been there. But that's what narcissistic people do. That's what possessed, evil, diabolical people do. They want to strip you of everything that you have, destroy you, so that you will have no choice but to bow down to them. And that is not what God is. I'm talking about the true God, the creator. That's not what we're doing. Okay. All right. So anyway, that's pretty much it, you guys. Peace to all of the divine feminines and divine masculines out there. I will be uploading that video and that reading, and I will see you guys next time. Okay, make sure y'all hit that thumbs up, subscribe, and blessings to you guys. Have a happy Thursday. Okay. All right, bye.